Hey, Leslie, how are you doing?
Hi, Lisbet. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us on this first Let's Talk on Houston City Beat. I'm so excited to find out more about your story and share it with people that are watching.
Well, I'm excited to be here as your first guest. So
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. We've been working on this concept for a while and we finally launched it, and it's pretty cool that you are our very first guest. So I'm really honored to be able to share what conscious capitalism is all about and how it's impacting not only the city of Houston but everywhere that the conscious capitalism movement has been established. So could you help us understand conscious capitalism in more detail? What is it about? Why was it started?
Absolutely. So, funny story, it was actually started quite accidentally. It's based on a book, and let me just grab this book for you real quick. It's based on this book that was written by John Mackey and Raj Sisodia. So, John Mackey is the founder of Whole Foods Market. I'm sure most people know that. And then Raj Sisodia is a professor of business at Babson College. So they wrote that about the philosophy behind how Whole Foods functioned years ago before Amazon. So that is really the basis of it. What happened were business owners got into that book, they started looking at it and thought, this is the best way for us to do business. So, in a nutshell, what is it? Conscious capitalism is something that is ethically grounded, and I use that word ethically strongly for a reason, in free enterprise. So, a lot of people mistake our movement for something that is, being, forgive me, tree huggers, things like that, right? It's not about that. We're about capitalism and being conscious at the same time. And so, kind of what we're looking for is we're looking to create a world where business benefits everyone. And so that's a bit of the background of conscious capitalism. What's it about? There are four pillars that the movement is based upon. And those four pillars are purpose, having a purpose for your business beyond profit. If you have a purpose and you live that purpose, you will receive profit. That's going to happen. The second is stakeholder management. What does that mean? When you think about stakeholders, you're not only thinking about stockholders, you're thinking about employees' families, you're thinking about the community your business is in, who it is that you serve, your suppliers. All of these people need to be treated fairly. All of these people need to have and create a win-win-win situation. The third is conscious leadership. So that's leadership where the folks that are in leader positions are thinking more than just about the bottom dollar, but how can I create a healthy company where everybody benefits, where everybody is appreciated, where everybody contributes. And then last but not least, building a conscious culture. And so what we have found is that in doing that, and there's another book called Firms of Endearment, which is also written by Raj Sisodia, Sisodia. And Raj, at that time, he took the S&P 500. He looked at all of the different stock market holdings, if you will, and he looked at the firms or the companies that were practicing conscious capitalism. And what he found was over a period of time, and not that long, about 10 to 15 years, the conscious capitalist companies actually outperformed the S&P 500 tenfold.
Wow, that's
And the
impressive.
reason that happened was because of the fact that they weren't so focused on profit as they were on building something better, right? What their purpose is and was. And so
So,
that's really what the movement is about, putting humanity back into business.
okay, so let me ask you this. You had mentioned the one of the founders, John Mackey, was he was the one that started Whole Foods, and you mentioned
Yes.
before Amazon. So, how
Yes.
do you see Amazon? When you look at Amazon, do you look at Amazon and say that is a conscious capitalism company? They follow the 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 best practices, or do you look at them and say they're a complete disaster? What is your opinion on Amazon?
Actually, it's funny because to be a conscious capitalist company, you do not have to follow all four tenets 100%. Right. So when we look at Amazon, Amazon has given the freedom to Whole Foods Market to function and operate in the way that they've always functioned and operated. And so they've allowed that to happen. They've allowed that culture to happen. Now, there's been some slippage. I'm not going to, I mean, I think we all know that if we shop at Whole Foods, there's been some slippage in there. However, they're giving that opportunity. Just because, this goes sound tacky, just because Jeff Bezos is a billionaire and he does certain things that we may not agree with, doesn't mean that he can't build a good company that benefits all. And so I would not be somebody who stood outside with a huge sign that says Amazon is the best company. However, I think with the acquisition of Whole Foods and the influence of John Mackey, they've become a better company than they were before that.
Okay. Okay. And how did you come across conscious capitalism? Because I know that you had a business before, and you still do. You still run your own
Yes.
business. Before you joined conscious capitalism, how did you discover it, and why did you decide to join?
You will laugh. I discovered it quite accidentally. I was putting together a seminar and I was looking to bring in all of the top leaders in the organizational and personal development space. And in doing so, I reached out to one particular leader, and you're going to laugh because I can't remember his name. It's been so many years. This was 2012. But the gentleman who wrote The Five Dysfunctions of a Team, and spoke to his personal assistant and described to her what I was looking to do. I wanted to bring these leaders together. I wanted to create a better world for people who had to work. We spend more hours at work than we do anywhere else. And so I wanted to find a way to bring to business the opportunity to really embrace their employees as family and help these people enjoy their lives, if you will. Anyway, long story short, she said to me, that sounds like this conscious capitalist type movement that's going on. And I looked it up, and sure enough, there was conscious capitalism. And I thought, let me join the chapter. That would be the greatest thing. Let me join the chapter. So I diverted off of my original purpose and started looking for a Houston chapter. There was none. Fourth largest city in the US with no chapter. I was shocked. So I called Conscious Capitalism, the organization, and I asked what was going on with Houston. And they said, we want a chapter there. We don't have one. We've had interest. Would you like to start one? And I said, absolutely. And so at that point in time, I was getting together 4 other stakeholders to come in with me and build it. The various things happened, but in the long term, I ended up with 5 people. We built a board. Doug Roush, who was of Trader Joe's. He used to be the CEO of Trader Joe's, actually is the person who approved our chapter here in Houston. So it was quite exciting to be able to talk with him before he retired from Trader Joe's. And we became a chapter. That was back in 2014. And we've been at it ever since. We're looking to really bring this knowledge to Houston. And we have quite a few companies in Houston who do practice this philosophy, this way of business. But that's how I came into it. I immediately got involved. It's a volunteer thing on my side. I don't get paid for it. I probably can tell, I'm very passionate about making lives better, and especially in Houston. I love this city. And I would love for I would love for us to be the shining star of all the cities in the United States.
Absolutely. In many ways, we already are, right? So let me ask you
Yes.
this. Before you, perhaps a company executive is watching this video right now, and he or she is interested in putting this the philosophy of conscious capitalism into their company. Do you all do like a benchmark before, in terms of, are people happy working there? Is that an important factor of, because to me, when you have an organization where people are happy, that company is going to do much better overall than an organization where people are miserable. And I've seen it time and time again where you have narcissistic people in management, and
Yes.
they rule with an iron fist, and they think that that's the best way to go about growing a company. And I've always had the philosophy that that is actually counterproductive. It will hurt the company long term, because yes, you will pay employees to come work for you, but every Sunday around noonish, they start getting the Sunday drearies, where they start reminding themselves of how much they dislike their work and how much they hate working there. And are they really going to give it their all? Yes, they're getting paid, but you can make someone come in because you're paying them, but you can't make them be happy to be there.
Right. Exactly. You have to have an intrinsic motivation to be somewhere, right? And the way that you get that intrinsic motivation is having various drivers within you fulfilled. And none of those are fulfilled by an iron fist. So to go back to your question, as an organization, we do offer trainings, we do offer educational opportunities, we offer every third Tuesday of every month, we have a coffee and conversations meeting. So we're doing most of those online. However, about 3 times a year, we've been doing it in person. What our purpose there is to bring these business leaders and people in business who want to lead. So there's a difference, together, so that we could talk about this. Because what the business that we're really in is about courage and confidence. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to really look at, how can I be better today? How can I make this a better place? How can I engage my employees? Or how can I engage other people in my department, right? And they have to have the confidence. Once they gain the courage, they need that confidence that they could keep going. And that's what we provide, along with education on the tenets and what they mean. And so my big thing with that is, get involved. Look at our chapter, get involved, come to our events, come to our meetings, find out more. We don't charge a penny for them. We want to just educate.
So tell us about the community here in Houston. How many companies? How many people? What is what kind of industry makeup do you have? Is it as diverse as Houston? If you could share some of that with us.
Yes. I would like us to be more diverse. Truthfully, we have investment firms. We have myself. I am a leadership development company. We have Savage Brands. You may have heard of them. They're a branding company. They're huge in Houston. We have, again, another financial company. And so we're looking to add different companies. We'd like to see this move into oil and gas as well, and into healthcare. And we've had speakers that come from the healthcare industry who actually live this. So, really, we want to grow this into all of our various industries. And the only way we could do that is by educating and by getting the word out. So I thank you for having this opportunity to talk to Houston and let everyone know that we're here. But yes, those are the companies that we currently have. If I could list that, I would like to just add one thing. There is a major oil and gas company here in Houston. I will not name names. I don't have the permission to at this point. However, extremely major global organization who one department of this company, which houses about 700 employees, lives by the principles of conscious capitalism. That particular area of this company flourishes, absolutely flourishes. If anybody gets transferred into this area and decides for whatever reason they can't be in this area, they don't stay at the company. The company loses them because they find out what it's like to work with a conscious culture ran by conscious leaders. So to give you an idea,
Beautiful.
it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Yeah, when you were telling me that, I had the image of it's like a garden. You have one side of the garden that you water and you take care of and you fertilize and it flourishes. And then you have another side of the garden that is not taken care of. It's abandoned. There's no love that goes into it. And I think that's a key word of the movement. It's about loving others in a
Yes.
way that's nourishing and helps not just the environment, but the people.
You're so right, Lisbet. There are books that have come out, and the healthcare individual that I was telling you about that's been involved with us more at the CEO level with our CEO summit came out of the Houston Medical Center, and in fact, he wrote a book called "Putting Love Back in Business." And that's exactly what it is, especially in Houston, where we're so focused on oil and gas and all of the history. My father came, from Sperry Sun Oil Company. So we're so focused on that the word love sometimes scares people. Although I do love the fact that Gen Z and the millennials are coming in and they're bringing that. And that's exactly what we need. We need that love and we need connection. And that can be encouraged and watered, to use your example, at work through our employment, no matter how big or small our company is.
That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. So tell me about Houston. How long were you born here? What is your connection to Houston?
Well, I am a native. I was born in Houston. I was actually born in Herman Hospital back when it was not Memorial Herman. So kind of gives you a little idea of mold. But yeah, born and raised. My mother was born there. I think my grandmother was born at home, so we can't count her. But yes, I'm like a fifth, fourth generation Houstonian, definitely Texan. I moved to New York in the 80s and lived in New York for 5 years. Brought back a 6'2" souvenir named Larry. And we married.
Lucky for
Uh,
Larry.
yeah, he's a great guy. So anyway, I am from here. I love this city. I believe two things. Number one, the saying of if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's 100% true. And I moved to New York with $40 and 2 boxes of clothes, right? And I
Wow.
made it.
Did you do that on purpose? Was that like a test to yourself?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It absolutely was. I had a challenge and I needed to rise to the occasion. And I'm one of those people who let's jump into the deep end of the pool,
Yeah.
and
We'll
we'll
figure
figure
out
it
the
out.
rest later.
Yeah, exactly. And so I I believe that. I also believe that Houston is, if it's one of, or I want to say the most entrepreneurial, supportive cities in the United States. And I love that about this city. I love that if you come into the city with a dream and a passion and a purpose, and you're willing to do the work, you can make anything happen here. And so that is so much a part of who I am, what my personal company is, and why I work with Conscious Capitalism is bringing all of that together.
So tell us, what is your favorite restaurant in Houston?
Oh my gosh, you'll laugh. So I don't eat meat. And my favorite restaurant in Houston is actually in Sugar Land, and it's called Pythagoras.
Pythagoras? How do you
Pythagoras,
spell
yes.
that?
P-Y. Oh, you're gonna hold on. Let me look that up. It is fantastic. If you get there, Lisbet, you'll have to let me know. I will join you.
Yeah.
So Pythagoras, okay, Pythagoras.
Okay.
And Pythagoras was actually a Greek philosopher. And he believed in peace and harmony, and he didn't eat meat, and that's what the restaurant's named after. I think he lived in like the 1300s or something, forever ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, the place is fantastic. The owners are wonderful. So that's my favorite place
That's
in
beautiful.
Houston to eat.
Well, yes, we might have to meet there possibly at some point. I am a meat eater, 100%. I still love you though, Leslie. I still love you 100%. I'll eat my pork and you'll eat your squash and stuff. Is that cool?
Hey, Lisbeth, I love you too, darling. It's fine. And it's funny. You'll have to meet me there and find out we eat more than squash.
Like
You'd be
peppers and
amazed.
onions and stuff, right?
Yeah, you'd absolutely be amazed. But yes,
Yes,
I
yeah,
am not one of those
absolutely.
judgmental people at all.
So here's my hard question for you, because I have to have at least one hard question.
Okay.
What is the one thing about Houston that you would change if you could change it?
The one thing that I would change about Houston would be to educate. So I don't know if this is to educate for the change, our leaders in both government and in corporate, how to live the philosophy of conscious capitalism, and how I would love to see that happen for our city all across. And I would like to see less. I don't want to use negativity. I would like to see more happiness and internal joy in this city than frustration, road rage, and that sort of thing. And I think really we can do that if we make it a aim for us to do that. If we make it a goal, I think we can do that. So that would be the one big change I would make, is to educate our leaders on how wonderful we could be and what talent we actually do have in this city, and how to help people realize their full potential.
That's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing to want to bring into the space of the city that we all know and love. So thank you so much, Leslie, for your time and sharing about conscious capitalism. We at Houston City Beat would love to join the movement. It is really something that I, as a founder and an editor-in-chief, would love to bring to our space as we continue to build our organization. And I know that Mike would also agree with me on that. So I'm going to be reaching out to you to find out how we can be involved and share more stories about companies that are involved in this movement. We would love the opportunity to do that.
That would be great. I would love to introduce you to many companies in Houston who are practicing that.
Yes. So thank you again for joining us on Let's Talk on Houston City Beat. I'm Lisbet Newton, and our guest, Leslie Amerman with Conscious Capitalism. And could you provide to us your website, please?
Capitalism.org.
So that's
and you can, under resources, you could find our chapter.
Okay, so that's consciouscapitalism.org. You go to the resources section and you'll find chapters, and then you can locate the Houston chapter.
Yes, absolutely. And get on our mailing list, just find out what's going on. And then if anybody wants to contact me directly, they could do so at my email, if it's okay if I give that out, Lisbet. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that is Leslie, Leslie, at dynamicinteractions with an S.net.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Leslie. And I can't wait to meet you in person so we can do, we can break some squash or something, you know, I'm all up for it.
I'll meet you at a steakhouse if I need to. They have great sides.
Steakhouse, that sounds fantastic. Let's do it.
I'm there.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.